All right, Brainiacs. This is looking a little different, isn't it? I have another special guest. I didn't do enough research, guys. I found out too late that July is Minority Mental Health Month. You know my channel is about mental health. And you're probably wondering, this girl looks just like Brandi, or like she's also brown. It's like, is it really that different? You're gonna find out really soon. Um, so this is my friend Brooke. Hello, Brooke.
Hello.
Brooke, we've known each other for a long time. I think
Yeah.
the first time we met was in like ninth grade. Her mom
Yeah.
came to my high school for like a weekend, and
hmm
it was a basketball tournament. And I was on the team, so I didn't really get to like hang out with Brooke. I kind of just met her because I was pretty busy that weekend. And then 4 years later, he was like, "Oh, that girl came to my high school, and her mom's the dean at my college. So crazy." Come to find out, our moms went to school together too. At the same school,
Yeah.
we went to college at Oakwood University. So it's kind of cool how things come back full circle. So that's how Brooke and I met. And then what happened next, Brooke? Where did we go from Oakwood?
We went to graduate school.
Fun.
We just seem to follow each other. Yeah, we went to graduate school, Southern
Yeah.
University.
Yeah.
And we were the same major at Oakwood.
Yeah, we
Did
were.
you
I
mention
forgot to
that?
mention that.
Yeah.
And also, we started out as the same major, or what's the word? I guess
Yeah.
emphasis, as
Yeah.
grad students. So, Brooke, tell us a
hmm
little bit about that.
Yeah. So I started out as clinical mental health. Um, But I just felt like that wasn't the right fit for me. I've always loved children. I wanted to work with children. And I realized that the school counseling route was a better fit for me. So
Mhm.
I was almost done. And I decided to switch to school counseling. And so that pushed me back a little bit. But it was the best decision I could have made.
That's good. That leads me right into my next question. Like, what is it that you do for a living? Are you a school counselor or still working on that? What's that looking like?
Yeah. So right now it's weird. It's a weird time with schooling. I am doing school counseling, virtual,
That's interesting,
but
for sure.
yeah, it is interesting. And everything's up in the air right now on what the school year will look like going forward. So I'm just staying prayed up that I have a job, that
Yeah,
everything works out, especially for the
definitely,
children.
definitely,
Mhm.
definitely. Okay, so Brooke, tell me about where you're from and like some of the things that, or the people. I know these things, but everyone else doesn't.
Yeah, so originally I'm from Connecticut, and that is where all my family lives, my mom's side and my dad's side. Um, at 5, we moved to Seattle, my mom and I, but we've always kept in contact with our family in Connecticut. Like I said, my dad does live in Connecticut, and both sides of my family are actually Native American, but my dad's side of the family is the family that I know more about. I'm able to say the tribe, and I know that family history. So, yeah, my dad's side of the family is Native American. The tribe is in Connecticut, which is really exciting. I remember as a kid, everybody's some percentage Native American. Well, at least that's how it seems.
Yeah,
And so I
yeah.
remember as a kid, kids would say, "Oh, I'm Native American too," and then I'd ask them their tribe, and they're like, "That's where it stops. I'm Native American. That's about it." So I always thought it was cool that I know my family history.
Mhm.
And if I ever had any questions, I could call my dad or his siblings and they could give me more information. So that's pretty exciting.
That is awesome. Yes. So that's kind of why at the beginning I was like, well, she looks brown, like Brandi. You know, this ring light is making me look very bright right now. But, you know.
You're glowing.
Oh, thank you, girl. This is all the time, guys. Like, it's just jokes with Brooke.
Yeah.
um, let's see. Yeah, so I wanted her to be able to come and share a little bit about what it's like to be Native American. And actually, I think this is the first time that I have actually heard that your mom's side has some of that too. I just thought it was your dad, like all this time. So that's
Yeah.
cool. That's news to me. I'm learning too, guys. So we know that this channel is surrounded or was built on mental health. And so, like I said, July is Minority Mental Health Month. And I kind of just wanted to do this just to bring awareness to people and educate. That's the goal of the whole channel, really. So what kinds of mental health issues have you seen in your family, or just like maybe if you have any knowledge of other tribes? I know that media doesn't say too much about Native Americans, or in our textbooks we learn that there's like alcoholism and depression and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
What things have you seen or heard
Yeah,
about?
I was just going to say, yeah, depression for sure. Substance abuse. I know a study was, I think it was 2012. A study revealed that Native American adults have the highest risk of mental health issues compared to other populations. And I believe that that has to do with just generations of passed on hurt and pain. I mean, we haven't had it the easiest in this country.
Yeah.
And so I know there's a high rate of suicide with Native American people. And I think a lot of that has to do with the substance abuse. I mean, you abuse alcohol, 9 times out of 10, the next thing is you've just had enough. And suicide sometimes is the easiest way out. So, yeah. Also, I think, like I said, well, I don't think I even mentioned this. Native Americans are pretty private people. And I think it's hard to be able to say something is different, I don't feel right, and then to go a step further and say, you know, I need help. That's hard for people, especially when you're private. So I think just a lack of awareness is another thing. Like, what do I do from here? Where do I go from here? And mental health has a bad reputation. I mean, the nickname is, oh, you're crazy, and nobody wants to feel crazy. So I think that all kind of falls in line together. I don't want to admit there's a problem. I don't want to look crazy. Where do I go from here? What does that look like as someone who's private?
Yeah. So knowing all of those things, I don't know how in tune or how aware you were as like growing up, or how you became interested in mental health. Like, does your family background have any influence in that, in your decision to become passionate or interested in the mental health field? I know you're a school counselor, but you still have mental health training.
Yeah, for sure. My background has had a huge role in my career field. I know that I'm Native American. Like I said, mental health can definitely play a huge role. So I try to just educate myself, especially for my health. I try to do check-ins with myself. How am I feeling each week? Because I am human. We're all human.
Yeah.
So yeah, but definitely my family background had a huge role in the counseling aspect. I've always just wanted to help people. That's like really been a passion of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I was put on this earth to help in any way possible.
Yes.
So
and seriously, every childhood story I've heard about Brooke from her parents or anybody that's in her life as she grew up is always a story about Brooke helping somebody. Even if Brooke is inconvenient, Brooke is going to help somebody.
Yeah, my mom will go on and on about me as a child, just like talking to strangers in the store, like trying to counsel them. Yeah.
Oh man. Her mom has this amazing ability. She's like one of the greatest storytellers I know. I wish she was like on this call to tell you guys a story, but it wouldn't be the same.
You should have her on the channel one day.
I should, you know.
She'd love that.
I love her. I texted her for Mother's Day and she was like, "Oh, I just love you." Oh man. Gotta love her.
Oh yeah.
She's so funny. Like she needs a comedy show for real.
I've been telling her that. Like she could make some good money.
Yes, put Dean on YouTube. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. I don't know how touchy the subject is, and if we don't want to discuss, that's completely fine. But I know that you and your husband have gone to Black Lives Matter movements. It's not a parade. It's not a rally. I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think right.
Yeah. Protest.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Protest. And I wondered, like, as I was thinking of like what questions to ask Brooke for this episode, I guess. Have you ever, I know that you stated that your mom's side has Indian or Native American blood too, but have you ever struggled with racial identity? Because I do know that your mom is also African American as well. So have you ever had that or had people like, because honestly, I never knew that you were Native, and I don't even know when I figured or heard that for the first time, but I never would have known unless you said something. And I don't think it's something that you just like broadcast, "Hey guys, I'm Native American." No, I'm just Brooke, basically is what everybody will get from you. But I'm just curious, have you ever had like any racial identity kind of battles growing up?
Not that I can think of, because my parents are separated and my mom raised me mostly as a single parent. So like you said, I've always just been Brooke, and my dad has always taught me that there's no need to broadcast, "Oh, I'm Native American," because people will take that in different ways.
Yeah.
And our tribe has been blessed. And he's always said, when you go around and say what you are, then people expect something from you. And so that's never really been a thing where I'm like, "Oh, I'm Native American to the world." But I can definitely see with my family, I have cousins who are like me. Maybe mom or dad's side is Native American. It's either or. So dad's Black, mom's Native American, whatever. And I can see where that could be an issue. But for me personally, no. My mom has always said, "You're Black. You're a Black woman." So yeah, and I have participated, and we went to one protest. Right now it's a very tricky time, especially with the virus going around. We probably would have gone to more, but I was already a little skeptical because of the virus. But we thought that it was important to be able to get out there and to show that we support Black Lives Matter. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My last question, also kind of iffy, but again, if you don't want to get into it, this is.
Yeah.
So, as technically a biracial child, most people think Black and white, but bi means two. So if you got two races or things going on in your bloodline, you're biracial. We've already kind of touched on the Blackness of it all, but as minorities, the thing we have in common is oppression and struggle, I guess. Also in both communities, I noticed as you were talking, the negative stigma that mental health has in both the Black and Native American communities. And I see a lot of Blacks deserve reparations for the things that they've gone through in this country. And I also have seen rebuttals like, well, technically this is our land, our being Native American. And so we deserve that as much as Black people. What are your views on that as a Native American?
Yeah, I do feel like we've been pushed under the rug, I guess you could say. And that could just be like lack of awareness. I feel like people don't really do much research on Native Americans and, our culture. So, I mean, I can't say that I blame them because, I mean, you have to research things. You have to put things out there. So I feel like this is such a great time because it's quarantine, we're stuck at home. What else do we have to do? So this is the best time to educate yourself and to really bring awareness. And I actually have seen things here and there about things coming up about Native Americans. And so I kind of feel like our voices we're trying to speak. We might not be heard just yet, but we're definitely trying to speak. And I encourage more Native Americans to get out there and to tell your story and to talk about your family and to just kind of let our voices be heard. I mean, yeah, it's a touchy subject. I don't know. And the thing with me is I have tried my best to really educate myself on my family's history and that side of my family. But it's different for everyone. Every tribe is different. I guess it's just whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah. I love that answer. And it is prime time to educate yourselves on everything. Like, there's so many things that need repairing in this world, let alone this country. And there's so many ways that we can help. But gotta be willing, and you also should be educated about what it is that you're trying to contribute to, whether that's just a post on Facebook or Instagram or donating to a fund or whatever it is. Educate yourself too.
Know what you're supporting. Don't just do it because everyone else is posting about it or supporting that cause.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Brooke, I just want to thank you so much for joining us on Brainwash today. Brooke is still, in my eyes, very passionate about mental health. And so in the description, I'm going to drop the link to her Instagram, Brooke Speaks Out. She has a lot of motivational videos there. Just want to share with the people.
Thank you.
Yes, girl. Trying to get all of our faces out.
Yeah, there's still mental health with the babies. I know I'm with the children, but
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining, Brooke, and hopefully this won't be the last time you grace the screen with your presence.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I think this is so cool what you're doing, Brandi. I support you 100%.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, more power to you. Get people talking about mental health.
I'm trying, girl. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, and join us next time for another episode of Brainwashed.
Bye.